Today we're going to take a look at the Snap Studio XL. We're going to talk about RT60 and how it relates to the sound that you're hearing. I've done some calculations. You'll see the measurements. I'm also going to have a corresponding blog article that's going to have some high quality XY acoustic samples as well as some audio samples. All of those samples at the website will be completely uncompressed. There is no modifications going on to the audio whatsoever. It's going to be in 24-bit. And then you'll also see voiceovers throughout this video here. And those do have declicking on them as well as a 2-to-1 compression, so relatively light compression, but there is no EQ. Again, you'll just get a good understanding of what the booth actually sounds like. I should also note that this is a unit that was sent to me kind of not for review. It was really just to actually perform these calculations and be able to show people how it actually translates to real world usage. But definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at this. So I'd say it's not a full scale review, for example. It's really just meant to serve as a marker or a point of data to show people what type of sound you can get by using a device such as this. So, a long time ago, I went to school for audio engineering and worked and recorded in everything from humble project studios to world class facilities. And I've seen a lot of suspect information come out online over the years. And I figured I could at least provide some usable measurements and samples that people could use to make a determination as to whether or not this would work for them. When I started talking to Zach, who created the Snap Studio, he thought it was an interesting idea and he wanted to support it. So here we are. So what are its main uses? Well, it's in the name. It is a vocal booth. This is a great tool for creators like singers, voiceover artists, and musicians. It's large enough that I could easily fit my acoustic guitar into the booth with an XY setup and my laptop, as well as everything else that's really needed to record some quick samples. Predominantly, though, this is a vocal booth. Yeah, so this is one of the few full-body portable vocal booths out there, meaning it encloses the whole microphone and the performer rather than just wrapping around the microphone itself. It was invented by Zach, who is a Grammy-nominated producer. It's got a very cool story there, actually, and he really understands what creators need, especially ones who are on the go. So the frame is super lightweight and sturdy. It snaps together quickly, and the whole structure is really engineered to be easy to install and really solid when set up, which is pretty impressive considering it folds down so compactly, and especially considering the weight of the blankets, which are very substantial. So inside the Snap Studio, you're surrounded by thick acoustic blankets, as you can see back here. The studio calls them Pro Sound insulation blankets. These aren't your ordinary moving blankets. They're a high density, incredibly heavy reverb killers. It really doesn't skimp on some of the extras, so I was really happy to see that it came standard with thoughtful accessories. So you get these multicolored LED bars, which is fantastic. Comes with a remote. Kind of lets you set a different mood in here if you want, as well as adjustable device mounts. So for your, kind of tablets or phones or whatever, lets you kind of read lyrics, scripts, things of that nature. And of course, comes with duffel bags as well for transport. So it's really just it is a studio in a bag. I think that's the easiest way to look at it. It is just everything that you need and really nothing that you don't. So to gauge performance, I looked at the RT60, which is a metric for how long the sound's reverberation takes to decay by 60 decibels. In a typical untreated room, an RT60 of around 0.3 to 0.5 seconds at mid-range frequencies is pretty common. It can be longer if you have a lot of hard surfaces. And that lingering reverb is what gives the home recordings that roomy or kind of echoey character, which is a disaster to mix. And so for professional vocals, you really want a much shorter RT60. So kind of think sub that 0.3 seconds, where it ventures into a pretty acoustically dead zone. Now, RT60 also varies quite a lot depending on room size, for example. I mean, you could be in cathedrals that could have 1 second RT times or even greater. An average household, living space is probably, that 0.3 to 0.5 in many instances, but we definitely want to get something quieter than that with a better decay to eliminate, again, just some of the the reverb that really, really creates challenges in a mix. So I measured the reverb time with and without the Snap Studio, and the results were fantastic. Without the booth in the mid frequencies, the RT60 was roughly 0.35 seconds, and you can hear that in the recordings as faint room echoes kind of trailing each word. Inside the Snap Studio, the mid and high frequencies plummeted to kind of that 0.2, 0.25, even less in some bands. Really attenuates the highs quite nicely. So in plain terms, there is a pretty dramatic reduction in reverb. Probably, I don't know, 70, 80% shorter decay, it seems. So a clap or vocal phrase dies out almost immediately inside the booth. Whereas if you do it in an open room, it kind of hangs there for a few seconds. So it really does confirm some of the claims about that, 80% absorption, for example. So in my test, it created an ultra dry vocal space that rivals kind of the deadness of a pro studio in some cases. So what does this mean for your recordings? Well, the less reverb and noise in your raw vocal takes, the more flexibility you're going to have in mixing. With Snap XL, my voice tracks sounded like they were recorded in a treated studio. There's no weird super boxy colorations or hokey reflections. So the difference is night and day. Vocals come out crisp and clear, and kind of free of that home recording tint that you often get in bathrooms, things along those lines. There's no chance that you're going to get those slap echoes off the wall. Again, you can hear that pretty easily. So yeah, you just won't get those off the walls or ceiling sneaking in from behind you. That's a limitation I think that you'll often see with those types of smaller devices. So let's talk use cases. If you're a vocalist or a musician, this booth really lets you record album quality vocal tracks at home, avoiding costly studio bills. I've tried some voiceover work, and it's came out really clean. And again, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when it comes to audio specifically. You just cannot get those types of reverberations easily out. There's a lot of great AI tools that exist at this point in time, but end of the day, once you get things into a mix, you want to have the driest, the cleanest sound that you can get, and I think that you'll appreciate what you get out of the Snap Studio XL. So after deep diving into the Snap Studio XL, I can confidently say that this portable vocal booth lives up to its promises. It aligns with professional expectations in the areas that count, so delivering that dry, clean acoustics, providing a spacious and comfortable recording environment, and the convenience that today's content creators crave. Yeah, so if you're serious about your audio, whether you're a singer trying to nail that perfect vocal take, a voice actor recording auditions from a hotel, or a YouTuber upping your narration game, the Snap Studio XL could be the investment that takes your sound to the next level. The Snap Studio XL is awesome for what it is, and again, that's a device that is really meant to kind of control the room. So basically, eliminate those reflections that nobody wants. I can say, being in Canada, that if you actually look to put something like this together, one, you're going to waste a bunch of time trying to pull it all together. Two, it's not going to look as nice. And three, you're not going to get the same quality of absorption unless you find some very specific blankets. So I think what they put together is a really compelling argument. And I certainly don't hesitate to recommend it to people who are very serious about wanting to have good quality recordings. Again, the thought that you can actually just pin up these blankets when it's not being fully erected and use it to continue to have some form of broadband absorption is a really, really nice additional use case that I think people need to take into consideration when they look at something like this. So I really don't hesitate to recommend a product like this. It is clean, easy, packs up perfectly, and I think end of day, that's probably what most people are looking for. I know for myself, for example, I don't live in a mansion and I don't have a lot of dedicated setup space. So if I'm going to look to record a voiceover, I kind of want to just be able to set that up, go ahead and make the recording and call it a day. So that's what we got for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Again, make sure to check out the website because you're going to see all of the compressed, or sorry, all of the uncompressed audio there. Um, in its native resolution as well as the corresponding write up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.